All right, welcome this morning. Thank you very, very much for taking time out of your busy Friday morning to join us. My name is Nina Amy, and I am the program director for the Cyber Ready Professional Program under the National CyberWatch Center. A little bit about me. I have been in technical education for over 20 years. Most recently, I was the department chair of computer technologies and the cyber center director at a community college here in Denver, Colorado. Now I am a cybersecurity education grant coordinator for several different organizations across the country. So this is very much my passion. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. This is one of my favorite quotes. Capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill, and the willingness to learn is a choice. All right, so what does the workforce today look like? Well, things have changed quite a bit in the last several years. And now employers are saying that problem-solving skills are extremely important, as is relevant work experience. Now, I know as students, right, you're going to say, well, yeah, but Nina, how do I get a job and work experience if I don't have a job and I don't have experience, right? It's that whole chicken and egg problem. And we're going to talk about that today and how the Cyber Ready program can help you with that. As we know, there are no entry-level cybersecurity jobs. There's no such thing as an entry level, meaning 0 to 3 years, right? Every once in a while, there's a couple that pop up that are truly in the field of cybersecurity, that are truly 0 to 2 years of experience. So what does that mean for you as a cybersecurity student? Well, what that means is that you need to start off in what we call feeder roles: networking, IT support, help desk. Help desk is one of the perfect entry-level positions to start with. Why? Because you get exposed every day to a multitude of experiences and scenarios and problems and people. And employers really look at that as a perfect landing spot and a perfect jumping in spot. Help desk support, general help desk support, networking help desk support. Some large companies separate them. Medium-sized businesses usually put them all together. Medium-sized businesses will put all of it together. So when you're in a support position, you may get asked everything from my computer won't turn on to I can't get to my shared drives, all the way to, uh-oh, something really weird just popped up on my screen. I don't think I should click on it, right? So what are employers really searching for? And employers really are searching for people with these skills: adaptability, creativity, collaboration, self-motivation, problem solving, and most importantly, communication. Why are these so important? Can anybody tell me? Just go ahead and come off mute and or put in the chat why do you think employers are looking for these skills over technical skills? Why would these be the first thing that they would look for? Anybody?
Probably because they're harder to teach.
They are harder to teach, aren't they? Why else? Anybody else?
The technology is going to change.
Yes. Yes. And so there's a piece of this that's not in here is flexibility and resiliency. Resiliency is a relatively new term in the industry right now. And what does resiliency mean to you as a student? Anybody? Can you adjust quickly to changing environments? Kind of like the analogy I use is, if you've ever watched one of those cooking shows, right? And they're creating a dish from, stuff that's in a basket, and then they're halfway done. And what do the judges do? They throw in a different ingredient, and you have to like stop, readjust, and move forward to the end game. That's that flexibility and resiliency that employers are really looking for, right? Creativity. Why would a technical employer be looking for creativity?
They want to see you think outside of the box.
Oh, good answer. Think outside of the box. Yes, absolutely. Thinking outside of the box and being able to, I kind of refer to it as sort of being a MacGyver, although most of you are probably too young to remember who MacGyver is. But, he could fix anything, right? With bubble gum and a piece of electrical tape, right? And being able to think outside of the box, creativity, that didn't come out right. With creativity is so very important to be able to come up with a solution to a problem quickly, right? So I just finished a research project, and if you noticed on the first screen, right, we talk about Cyber Ready being a research-based approach to increasing the talent pipeline. So research, this is a project that I just finished working on. And the search criteria we used was to find open positions using the key term cybersecurity. We also used 0 to 3 years experience. So the true definition of entry level, right? And because I'm in Colorado Springs, and Colorado Springs is a very heavily Department of Defense contract industry, we chose to take out security clearance, okay? So no security clearance was needed. So what did we end up with? We ended up with these skills. Now look at this, communication, 48% of the total postings required communications. Problem solving, troubleshooting, writing. Look at this, detail oriented. Self-motivation, remember I was talking about self-motivation? Self-motivation has really sort of crept up in the last couple of years because of the pandemic, and everybody switched to remote. And you probably know from your own experience of trying to do classes online, it may have taken you like some really sort of aha moments to realize that it's very different trying to self-motivate yourself to get your work done in a timely manner when you're online and you're not, in the classroom or in the office. This is still very true as companies move more to a hybrid working environment, and self-motivation is still extremely important. Now, this last column I thought was very interesting and important. And this is the projected skill growth over the next 2 years. So what they're saying is communication skills are going to grow by 5% in the next 2 years. Problem solving, that's going to grow 10% in the next 2 years. And leadership, even though right now it's at 17% of the job postings. Now remember, we searched for 0 to 3 years experience, but it's got an 18% skill growth. Now, you say to me, well, yeah, but Nina, if I'm still a student and I haven't done anything, how do I get leadership experience? Anybody want to give me an example of how they think leadership can be demonstrated by a student looking for a job?
By taking the initiative to
Okay.
address the situation head on. I think problem solving would help in that leadership role, because where everybody else might be stagnated and trying to figure out the answer, that leadership comes with, hey, you do this, hey, you do that, hey, you do this, and let me figure out this, bam, 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 bam. So that comes with also with the communication with your team members.
Yes, it all comes together, doesn't it?
It
All
does.
of these skills, they all come together. And it's actually what we call emotional intelligence. Some of the people in the chat, helping peers, absolutely. Are you in a club, in a class, and you get together and you help and mentor other students? Team events and assignments, oh, absolutely. Absolutely, right? Maybe you have a project, a group project in a class, and you take the lead. Team events. Yep, maybe you have a club and maybe it's a cybersecurity competition club and you're the president of that club or the vice president. Is that, let me ask you, is that a leadership skill that you can put on your resume? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a very important one. So, what will make you stand out on your resume, in your LinkedIn profile? Did you guys know? Maybe you do know this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. That when you submit a resume to a company, one of the very first things that they do after reading your resume, they go to your social media. They look for you. Do you know that it takes less than 6 clicks to find out things that are on the internet about you that you didn't know was there? So they'll look for a LinkedIn profile. They'll look to see what other social media platforms you have, what are you doing, who you are associated with, things like that. So what will make you stand out against everybody else that's looking and applying to that very same job? And this is where the Cyber Ready professionals come in. So READY stands for Regional Education Alliances for Developing Young Professionals. And what that means is that we feel that you students are you're at the front line of our next wave of national security defense. And our passion is to be able to make sure that you are ready to learn what you need to learn, that you have the ability to have access to the materials to learn what you need to learn. Remember that first screen about relevant experience? Well, part of our Cyber Ready Professionals program is integrating what we call resident intern clinics, and I'll get to that in just a second. So this is what makes us a little bit different. We have a readiness to learn. Rather than what we call formative assessments, which are, multiple choice questions, maybe a few short answers. But if you're good at taking tests and you don't know the material, you'll probably squeak out with a C. Competency-based mastery learning means that you take a skill and you can demonstrate that skill at 3 different levels. Proficient, which means you can do the skill when you follow the directions. You're competent if you can do that skill without really having to look at the directions, because you understand what you're doing, and most importantly, you understand why you're doing it. Then you can take this to the mastery level, where you can explain and know why you're doing it, but then you can demonstrate that skill with a different scenario, or like the cooking show, a new parameter thrown in at you, and you can still make it to the finish line. And then the third part are these resident intern clinics. This is where we will partner with local employers, small businesses that need cybersecurity help, right? We know that breaches to small companies, the percentage has just risen exponentially in the last 2 years. Why? Attackers know now that these large companies are really, right, they're beefing up their cybersecurity. It's a lot harder to breach their firewalls. But small businesses, they don't necessarily have, maybe they have, well, they might have a firewall. No, they may still have default credentials on that firewall and don't know that they need to change it. Nobody told them, right? And so our program includes these resident intern clinics that, as you go through this competency-based mastery learning and you go through these skills, you're prepared at different levels to go out into your community and help small businesses become more cybersecurity resilient. Make sense so far? Any questions, comments? All right. So the first part, the readiness to learn. This is where we've partnered with Accenture, and they are an international technical consulting firm, and they have created something called a Skills to Succeed Academy. And this is a free tool for learners and advisors, meaning faculty members, maybe in a classroom, maybe in your club, right? It's interactive, it's online, you can go at your own pace. And let's take a look and see what it looks like. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is the Skills to Succeed Academy. And you can start off by saying what exactly, where you are in your career building. Or you can just jump down and you have these modules that you can go through. Creating a CV and a resume. Practice your interview skills. That's an art form. I have to tell you, it is seriously an art form. How do you get ready for your interview? Is it in person? Is it via Zoom? Are those two things different? Do you prepare differently for them? And then your first day at work. Some of the, and all of these modules are scenario based. So they give you a scenario and you watch this little video snippet, and then you answer questions about, is this an appropriate action? Which is the appropriate response, right? How do you, and so we start integrating these emotional intelligence skills and getting ready to actually go out into the workforce. And then you come down and there's modules, lifelong learning. Here's emotional intelligence. Here's your problem solving, critical thinking, problem solving skills. So it's a really, really cool program. And I'm going to give you the link at the end of this presentation for you to be able to get a free access code to be able to look into it. So what is the next piece of the puzzle? So we have this learning stage and this credentialing stage. These two stages, actually all three of these stages, kind of go hand in hand. The credentialing stage consists of a series of courses through the National CyberWatch Center that have been designed with competency-based mastery learning in the forefront of the curriculum design. What does that mean? It means that they're self-paced. It means that you don't have just an 8-week semester or a 15-week semester to be able to master all of these skills, right? You can take the time that you need to be able to go through. Now, what's really cool about the way we've designed this is that as you go through these skills, the first thing you do is you complete what's called a capability maturity assessment. And it really shows you where your blanks are, or where you're almost blank, but I know a little bit, right? I know just enough to get a C in the class, but I don't really know what I'm doing, kind of thing, right? And the problem with that is that, you know, if you start off with a foundation class and you get 50% of the material, but then the next class is based on the assumption that you have 100% of those skills mastered, you keep getting farther and farther behind. And so this maturity assessment gives you an idea of where do you need to relearn some stuff, and where do you need to, what skills and topics do you need to sort of brush up on and make sure that you're at 100%. And that's where we create these classes and these modules. It may be only 1 or 2 modules out of a specific class that allow you to get up to speed. As you're getting up to speed, proficient, competent, master, you move into the service learning resident intern clinic phase, which we match employers, small businesses, and their needs against the skills that you have. So as you go through the program, you're gaining skills. The more skills you have, the more employers and companies you can help at a greater level. Questions so far? Comments? All righty. So some of these classes, and I'm sure these classes titles look very familiar to you, right? Networking fundamentals, scripting, Linux server, Windows server. And I'll tell you, these two, scripting and Linux, those two skills have significantly gone up the list in the skill category of employers significantly over the last 5 years. 5 years ago, as a network administrator or a cybersecurity analyst, especially entry level, you didn't need to know Linux. You didn't need to know scripting. Now, I have employers telling me, I won't hire anyone in cybersecurity or networking if they don't know Linux, if they don't have any scripting experience. So these are extremely important. And then you move into information security fundamentals after you've got this foundation. And once you have that, then you've got all these other specific topics that you can move into. Now, I was talking about your skills as students helping employers, small businesses. Well, the framework that we're using, all of our framework, of course, aligns to the NICE framework, National Initiatives for Cybersecurity Education. It's a national framework that most schools try to align their cybersecurity curriculum to this NICE framework. More importantly, more and more employers are aligning their job titles and their work roles to this NICE framework also. And one of the ways that we do this is that we will offer small businesses the ability to get a CMMC level 1 audit. Well, what does that mean? CMMC. Anybody ever heard that acronym before? Anybody know what it is? CMMC stands for Cybersecurity Maturity Matrix Certification, and it's a certification through the Department of Defense. And what it means is anyone that wishes to do business with a Department of Defense contractor has to comply with one of the 3 levels of CMMC audit. And so, I mean, some of this is very simple, right? You check to see whether or not they escort visitors through the building and whether or not they keep a log of visitor activity. Could you guys do that particular audit control right now? Probably. Some of the more difficult ones, implementing subnetworks, control and manage physical access devices. But all of these audit controls, we feel that by going through the program that you would be more than capable, more than competent, that you've mastered the skills to be able to complete an audit of a small business. So, any questions so far? Now, why do you think I put this slide up here about LinkedIn? Kind of talked about it a little bit before, but why do you think I put this in this presentation?
Recruiters are going to look online for you.
Yep, recruiters are going to look online for you. Like I mentioned before, they'll look here before they even talk to you. So building a LinkedIn profile is extremely important. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this link in the chat. And we will have, the reason why I'm recording this, by the way, is that we will have this recording posted with all of the links available so that you will be able to have access to it at a later date. All right, so LinkedIn profile, super, super, super important. And it's an art form. It really is an art form, but this is one of the best articles that I have read, and it's current. Even though the link says 2017, it was actually updated in 2023. So real quick, I'm going to go back to this LinkedIn. Let me go back to, remember I was talking about as you go through the skills, right? And you get proficient, competent, mastery. Well, here's what's really neat is you get digital badges for each of those levels for each skill. Huh, well, what do I do with a digital badge? Well, you can post your digital badges on LinkedIn. You can also post your digital badges on your resume. Anybody ever think about that? All the things like that that you can put on your resume. Are you a member of a club? Are you the president of a club? What were you in a cybersecurity competition? What rank did you get? Which one was it? What rank? How many years? All of that can go on your resume. All of that can go on your LinkedIn profile. Remember we talked about what makes you stand apart? This is it. So one of the other presentations I did asked, well, how would I put that on my resume? Well, this is an example of an entry-level resume, right? You put your education and whatever experience, whether it's paid or volunteer. Experience doesn't mean that you had to get paid for it. Experience means you went to, you took your club and you went to a local senior retirement community and you answered their questions about how do I get on Google? What happened to my email? Where did I put that document? Things like that. That's stuff you put on your resume and your LinkedIn. Those are those leadership skills and communication skills that employers are looking for. Now down here, see where it says skills? You could put something like career preparation. Questions, comments, thoughts, ideas?
Yeah, quick question.
Yes.
Does your email, like when someone's looking at your resume, does your email matter? Like how you present your email, what's your email name?
Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It really does. If you have a weird email address that, 5 years ago when you created, you thought it was kind of cute and funny, I would make one that is professional, your name or your initials, something along those lines. Absolutely. No, your email address is huge. Yes. I would rank it there just under, make sure that your resume has no spelling or grammatical errors. That is the first thing. If there's a spelling error or grammatical error on a cover letter or a resume, even if you've got a good set of skills, they won't go any further because that comes under communication. Attention to detail. So yeah, I've heard that from lots of employers that if you have a spelling or grammar error on your resume or on your cover letter, it immediately goes in the trash can. So how can you get involved? How can you do this? Do you have a club? Maybe do you have a cyber club? Do you have a computer club? Do you already have a National Cybersecurity Student Association club or chapter at your school? Are you involved in it? Would you like one? You can very easily convert an existing club to a National Cybersecurity Association club or chapter. Well, why would I want to do that? Well, one of the main reasons is that we have regional conferences, and as a NCSA member and or chapter, you get significant discounts. You get access to what we refer to as a talent fair, which means the employers come to you and talk to you about your skills rather than you going to an employer. You get significant discounts on registration at the conferences. You get significant discounts on the cybersecurity skills development workshops. You get access to information, job information, employer information, webinars, all through our national cybersecurity student associations. This is just a little bit about the student association. We're growing rapidly every month. And what are our objectives, right? You students, like I mentioned before, you are the next wave of the cybersecurity generation to help protect the nation and the nation's security. And it's very important that we support you, we educate you, we encourage you, we facilitate your learning and your recruitment, and we support the diverse community that we're hoping cybersecurity continues to become. So how do you start a chapter at your school? You must be 18 years or over. You need to be a member of the NCSA, and you do need to have a faculty member that is an academic member, and you need 2 other friends. Now, the faculty member. Well, you know, faculty members are awfully busy. They're not going to want to help me. They're not going to want to spend extra time. Yes, they are. The reason why they're in the position that they're in is because they have a passion for teaching. They have a passion for teaching the new generation of technology students, of the next generation of employees, of workers. If you express an interest, go to your favorite faculty member and say, hey, you know, I really would like to do this at our school. Do you think you could help out by being our faculty advisor? We estimate it's about 2 hours a week. That's it, 2 hours a week. Do you think that's doable? What do you think? All right, are you ready to start on your path? All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to put some links here in the chat. I'm going to put my email address, and Gus is going to put his email address, because Gus is all things NCSA. I almost typed that. Okay. That's my email address. There's Gus's. And now couple the other links I'm going to give you. This first one, if you are interested in the Skills to Succeed Academy, you're going to go to this site and you're going to register. And what that will allow us to do is be able to give you a free access code. Now, do you have to do this all by yourself? No. This is an awesome thing to do in your cybersecurity club, in your NCSA chapter. Go through the Skills to Succeed together. Do it as a group. we found through our research that students are much more successful when they do it together. And there's no time limit. It's not like a class where you've got deadlines. There's no deadlines. You can go through it on your leisure. So rather than spending 3 or 4 hours doing playing video games with your friends, spend 2 hours playing video games and maybe 30 minutes going through what you've thought of some of the skills to succeed modules and learning from each other. Now, this next link I'm going to give you is a link to be able to get updates to the next 3CS regional conference. It will be August 4th and 5th. It's the Great Lakes, and it will be in Minnesota. Yes, Gus just put in the chat, the Student Association member portal has over 650 resource links. All kinds of resource links, all kinds of stuff. Now I'm going to open it up. We've got about 10 minutes left. I'm going to open it up for questions, comments, thoughts, ideas. Anybody? Nobody?
So when I'm in my second semester. Well, I just finished my second semester right now.
Okay. Okay.
Actually. So I guess what I'm trying to think. How do you proceed with the classes and everything about going about your future as what you want to do in cybersecurity? I guess if that makes sense.
That's a really, really good question. And wow, there are so many answers to that question. So through this Cyber Ready program, right now we are looking for corporate and federal funding to be able to provide the NCC courses to the students free of charge. At this point in time, it's not free of charge, but we are actively looking for funding models and sponsorships. How else? I'll tell you what, one of the best things you can do is in your community, do some research on companies you think you might want to work for. Well, you know, how would I know which company? Here's what you do. You go to like Indeed and you search for a job title that you think is what you may want to do. Okay. It'll come up with a whole bunch of companies. Read a little bit, do some research on the companies that pop up, and then ask for an informational interview. An informational interview. Explain that you're a student, you're investigating new areas of the industry, and that you were really intrigued with some of the more advanced postings that you saw, and you'd really like to know, what do you need to do in your schooling, in your area, to be able to move into the company? And make sure you read about their corporate culture, because that's really important. Super,
Okay.
super important. Yeah. Yep. Because they're going to come back and say, well, what makes you, what about this company makes you think that you'd want to join them? Right. And don't say, because I really liked what you pay. Wrong answer.
Hi, Nina. I have a question. This is Patrice Williams. So
Yes.
it's just kind of like a technical question.
Uh-huh.
about one of the links that you put in the chat. So when I go, I think it was the second link. Let me see which one. Okay, where the skills to success interest, that link. So it takes
Yes.
me to the National CyberWatch, to the page where it says Cyber Ready Professional Skills to Succeed Academy.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yep,
Okay.
that's correct. And then you just if you click on register, that'll allow you to fill out the form, and then we can get you an access code.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Mhm.
that's everything. Thank you.
No worries. No worries. So Marco, those are some of the really great ways to be able to investigate a company, is do these informational interviews. And when you develop your LinkedIn profile and you get in touch with more and more people, that's how you then also can have access to connections and people, and be able to reach out via LinkedIn to ask for an informational interview. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, that does.
Good.
Thank
Good.
you.
You're welcome. Good questions. Anybody else? Nobody else? All right, so you have our email addresses. If you're interested in the becoming a student member, Gus, do you have that link handy?
Yeah, put up right now.
Okay, thank you. So Gus is going to put a link in the chat that will allow you to register to become a National CyberWatch student. You do not have to have a club or a charter. A chapter. You can join as an individual member. But that's the first step to then being able to maybe, go to your faculty members, or, get some friends together. Because if you go to a faculty member and says, hey, I have 5 people who are really, 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 really want to start a national cybersecurity chapter here at our school. We'd love for you to be our mentor and our advisor. Here's a link. Here's how you find out about it. What do you think? And that's as a faculty member of 20 plus years, that's a great way to go about it. Any questions?